Now, growing numbers of businesses want to get their hands on behavioural data, information showing how customers interact with their products and services and which can help predict future behaviour. Well, Snowplow is a UK company founded a decade ago to help businesses with that. Its customers include Auto Trader, Capital One and Secret Escapes. Well, today it's announced it's raised $40 million from investors in its latest funding round. Well, with me now is the co-founder of Snowplow, Yali Sassoon. Yali, welcome to you. When did you spot that there was a gap in the market for this kind of data?
Well, thinking back to 2012, the world looked quite different to the world that we live in today. It was just when the iPhone was taking off and the web was becoming much more interactive, and much more of our lives were starting to be mediated by digital platforms. And so that was the moment that we really saw that there was an opportunity to use those digital platforms to create really rich data that described how people behave, and use that data to better understand and better serve them. So it's something that we spotted actually a very long time ago, but it's taken the industry quite a long time to sort of start realizing the possibilities around behavioral data.
And what are the difficulties, what are the obstacles in accessing this data and making it available? Is it the data processing or the cleaning it up or the presentation?
There are a number of technical challenges associated with behavioral data. So it's very, very high volume, it's very high velocity. It can look and feel very different. If you're a travel company creating data that describes how people are booking travel facilities, that data looks and feels very different to data that describes what people are doing on dating sites, for example. There are also organizational challenges. In many organizations, there are many different teams that are creating data and consuming data. And so connecting those different people that are creating and consuming data becomes a challenge. And then there are compliance challenges. This data is personal data. It's got to be handled with a lot of care. You've got to know at the point that you're creating it exactly what you're doing with the data. And you've got to be very, very clear with the people that the data is describing, what data you're creating, why you're creating it, and how you're going to use it, and respect their wishes and their consent. So if they don't want you to create it and use it that way, you mustn't. And if they change their minds around how they want you using the data, then you've got to respect that. So it's challenging for a whole host of reasons.
Yeah, sounds a minefield. Now, you've raised $40 million today. How will you be putting that to work?
There's three ways that we're using the money. The first is in improving our product, so that the time it takes companies to create behavioral data comes down. Today, it can take typically weeks, and we want to bring that down to days and hours, so companies can create this data a lot faster. The second thing that we want to do is launch lower cost versions of our technology. So it's not just the big enterprises that are out there creating data, but actually small and medium businesses can go and create data as well, or potentially individual teams within larger enterprises can adopt our technology. And then the third way is in growing our team so we can better support our global customer base.
So how many people are you looking to hire?
I think over the next year and a half, we're looking to grow from about 130 people today to more like 200.
Okay, and you're in 18 countries right now, including the UK, US, Australia, France, Germany. Any further sort of territories that you're looking to break into?
We're really focused on the European markets and the American markets. We're very, very fortunate to have this global customer base, but we have to focus our resources on a couple of markets, and those are enormous markets. There's plenty for us to do.
And who do you think you're competing with?
We're competing with a variety of different solutions. On the one hand, we're competing with companies that might be building this technology themselves. And certainly the very, very big players, the Facebooks, the Googles, the Netflix of the world, they all tend to build this technology for themselves. And then we also compete. The other way that companies get behavioral data is they'll take it as an export from other systems. So Snowplow is built so companies can create their own behavioral data. But the alternative is to export behavioral data out of other systems that create it for specific purposes. So tools like Google Analytics or Adobe Customer Journey Analytics that are built around providing a user interface to help optimize websites or mobile apps. That data will live in those systems, and companies might export the data from those systems. And there are also another class of software, customer data platforms, that are geared around marketers and helping marketers deliver more personalized marketing. and they might be used. The data might be taken out of those systems and used in the same way that the data that we're creating is.
All right, Yali, it's a fascinating subject. Thanks very much for speaking to us today. Hope to see you again.
Thanks so much, Ian.
Now, still to come here on Ian King Live.